I did not go over the DISC reports in detail. So I want to cover that real quick. The pages of emphasis that you can see immediately that will bring value immediately, and some that we can plan to use as we develop throughout the school year. So I'm going to share my screen, and then I'm going to get into the pages of emphasis that I really want to highlight that I really find valuable and have found valuable over the years that I've been using this report. So give me 1 second. Turn mine off. So on this DISC report, the first page you're going to see obviously is you're going to see your name, and in much smaller font you're going to see your style. You're going to have the nickname of it right here, and then you're going to have the letters that represent that style. So for me, my report, Challenger DC. The latest report I took was September 10th, 2022. We're going to jump to page 4 in the report. Page 4 in the report is a summary chart. It's going to tell you what the different letters mean up in the top in the blue area. It's going to tell you what the different styles seek, what their strengths are, what their challenges are, dislikes, and how they make decisions. So just page 4 alone, the blue area is incredibly valuable. For example, my influencing down at decisions, it says spontaneous, so they may make spontaneous decisions. My steady behavior pattern, their decision area may be conferring, meaning they want to get others' input before they reach a conclusion, and so on. Challenging, also, for example, my dominant, the challenges section, impatient, insensitive, poor listener, and so on. So it gives you a very quick reference chart right there for the major categories of each style. Then under that are your charts, the ones that we covered briefly. We covered not only what the individual charts mean. The zero line is neutral. That's what is a neutral line. Anything below that is going to give you stress when you're trying to employ those behavior patterns, and it is not something that you readily are in based on your assessment at the time. Anything above the zero line, those are going to be your dominant behavior patterns that you're in usually and that give you energy to use. You can use the other behavior patterns that are below the baseline. However, that's going to give you a lot of stress, and it's kind of be a slow slog through those behavior patterns. Again, we read from the right to, I'm sorry, yes, we read from the right to the left. So the right chart is your number 1 chart. The middle chart is your core. The left chart is your mask, the right being the mirror. It is a composite of the two other charts. And we went over those. We went over special patterns and the like. So then we're going to go to page number 7. Actually, this is the page that won me over to believing that DISC is really, really real and effective and accurate. I'm a natural skeptic. So when I started reading this, understanding your style, page 7 is a write-up of you. If someone had been watching you and your behavior play out, and they wrote kind of an essay, a 1-page essay about you, good, bad, indifferent, this is what page 7 is. It's unbelievable how it breaks down how you're showing up to others. So I like that write-up. But on the right is some other incredible value. So it tells what the general characteristics of that behavior pattern is. High ego strength, for example, and general characteristics: analytical, methodical, problem solver, extremely task oriented. And then it shows motivated by, that section in the middle. Motivated by work and project completion, authority to design and implement solutions, and so on. So it's going to show you what this person is motivated by, what their general characteristics are, and it's going to show you what the ideal work environment for that behavior pattern is, which I love, right? So ideal work environment, being able to design and refine challenging tasks and activities, recognition for their analytical abilities, and so on. So this is going to be something that is going to be valuable to the individual, and it's also going to be valuable to to their teammate, to his or her teammates, so they can see, that's what the environment I need to put them in, or help create, so they can succeed. So that's page 4. That's page 7. Now we're going to move on to page 8. Page 8 is Very valuable because it's like the communication do's and don'ts of each respective behavior style. So you can give this to your team members, your teaching teams, your staff, all of those things. If you feel it resonates, and highlight the main areas that really resonate with you. So it's got the greatest fear. It has, remember, a challenger may want authority, assignments, promoting growth, bottom line approach, opportunities for advancement, and so on. Here's what I really love about this page. When communicating with Brian, a challenger, do this. And it gives you a list of things that you can do to communicate with that person based on their unique DISC results. Then it says, when communicating with Brian, do not do this. So it's going to give you basically the answers to the test when it comes to communicating to a specific person. Don't ramble or repeat yourself, focus on problems. Don't try to be too social early in the relationship. Now, for me, I would not highlight that one because my I is also very high, and I'm okay with being sociable early in the relationship. But I do want to deliver value, and I do want to produce. When analyzing information, Brian, a challenger, may. So this is going to show you how they're thinking, how they're processing situations and information, and so on. It's very valuable. And motivational characteristics. So this gives you the book. It kind of peels back the onion. It lets you, it gives you a sneak peek behind the curtain of that person, both your report and those who you want to look into their reports to really understand what makes them tick behind the scenes. So that was page 8 of the report. Page 9, I also love. You're going to find that I love a lot of pages. Value to the group in page 9. Value to the group for this behavior style, bottom line organizer, analytical capabilities, not afraid to make unpopular decisions, able to be decisive. Challengers possess these positive characteristics in groups. So it's going to tell you, hey, this is what they're bringing to the table. This is what they're bringing to the table to help your team win. These are their unique characteristics that are very good. So I like that. Then at the bottom, this is one of the most important areas of your report if you want long-term development. If you want long-term development for you, your leadership team, or your staff, the personal growth areas are uniquely identified areas that are going to be appropriate for that specific DISC behavior style and how they can develop over time. So, for example, these are very specific. For me, strive to be an active listener as a DC challenger. Be attentive to other team members' ideas until everyone reaches consensus. Be less domineering and more friendly and approachable. Develop a greater appreciation for the opinions, feelings, and desires of others. These are things that I was trying to work on and actively perform while we were doing our vision and mission strategy session. Put more energy into personal relationships. Show your support for team members. That's something that I'm really working on as well. So what this does is gives you very identifiable growth areas, which you can have an accountability partner and say, okay, by this time, we're going to meet again, and I want to put some actionable steps in place that my accountability partner can question me and ask, what have you been doing to work towards those identified goals? So the personal growth areas are really good for coaching as well as accountability partners. My coaching clients, we base a lot of our coaching on these personal growth areas over time. So moving on from page 9 is page 11. Let's go there real quick. Again, this was a part of your handout. It was on the back side of your fill in the blank. No need to explain that one again. This is the decoder ring for identifying DISC behavior patterns and what you need to do to communicate well with them. So watch for these on the left and communicate in this manner on the right. One of the things that we tell people in our Team Builders Academy training, you don't have to change your values or your morals, but you should be willing to change your communications approach in order to connect with people well. So let's move on to page 17. Let's talk superpowers. So this one is called Power Disc. This is what you are bringing to the table in your superhero outfit. These, the ones that show up above this midline here, if you can see my cursor, the ones that show up above that middle line are going to be your superpowers. Kind of like on your disc charts, the ones that show up above that horizontal line, those are going to be the ones that you bring to the table in great ability and great strength. So for example, I have the I, the D, the second D, the C, and the P both above the baseline. So that means influencing. That also means directing. So it says my influencing is well developed. It says my directing is highly effective. It says my detailing is well developed. My creating is above average, and so on. So it's going to tell you what your superpowers naturally are. Now they could be higher, a little bit higher or lower, but these are going to be something that are natural strengths, like your superpowers that can really be used well. If you're in the right role and in the right situation. So page 17 is your superpowers. Page 23 starts application. These are questions after you go through your report, after you've done the initial DISC Foundations training and you've gotten your report and you're looking at this 30-page, okay, what am I supposed to do with this? Well, we work through this over time. And these questions are something that we work through over time as well. But after your initial training, this is going to be one of the questions. What are the three most profound things I have learned about myself? What are three key things I knew about myself that this report reinforced? What are three key things I learned about communicating and connecting with others? Three of my greatest strengths and how they present themselves. I like to go down to number 6. What are three key things I can do to grow myself based on the insights from this report? That is going to be an indicator of what we can work on as we develop coaching relationships or accountability partner relationships. If we identify three things, we can set actionable steps. We can also set KPIs, key progress indicators to say, okay, where are we in 30 days? Where are we in 60 days? Where are we in 90 days towards developing in these specific areas? So this is the beginning of the application. Again, we work with accountability partners or we do coaching sessions periodically as we follow up to really bring value to the report and the development process. So then we're going to page 27. This is where you can employ some application with an accountability partner. This one is how I respond to pressure. And you bring in an accountability partner for this section. You say, okay, identify the words, put a check mark by the words that reflect how I show up whenever things are high pressure. And this should be someone that knows you well, so they can give an accurate assessment without you blowing up on them, an accurate assessment of how you're showing up and how you're responding to pressure. So there's that one. And then this part you fill out on page 28. You fill this out, how I tend to see myself in certain situations in general, right? And then we go action plan here. So we say in the action plan, what do we think we show up well as? Yes or no? So organize as well, you would put a check mark by positive or negative. Overlooks people and feelings, you would put a check mark by positive or negative. And so you identify these things. Okay, this is how I think I'm showing up. And it is something that other people can have input on so they can tell you how you're showing up. It is one thing to perceive yourself in a certain way. It is another thing to get confirmation by other people. Either you're accurate or you may have a blind spot in how you thought you were showing up to your team. So this is what tells us what we need to work on moving forward. So once we identify those, we have page 30 where you can write down the first item upon which I will focus is, and then you fill in the blank. And then you set a review date. and then you say specific actions I'll take on this item in the next 60 to 90 days, right? And so your accountability partner or your coach can reference back to those and say, this is what you said you wanted to work on. These were the actions that you said you were going to employ to reach those. Did you do that? And what might have helped you do that, or what might be obstacles? And what do you see as a way ahead? So it's an amazing way to truly develop in those specific areas. So this is the report in summary. I did not get a chance to go over it because I was teaching some other parts of the DISC Foundations class. Error on me, but I wanted to deliver this to you. Actually, you guys can reference this anytime. I'm going to share this video with you. I will send it to your respective emails. If you have any other questions on the DISC report, about the charts, about how we can develop accountability relationships or coaching relationships, or development plan throughout the year, please get in contact with me.